Hey guys!
Hey there!
This is really us. We're not doing an audio test right now, so hey!
So thanks for joining us. We've got a really cool episode for you guys. Basically, we've been through the forums and collecting some really good questions, and we've got some answers ready for you. So
Before we get into that, because people occasionally remind me that we do need to do intros. For those of you who are returning, hi, welcome back. And for those of you who are new, this is the Exploring ArcheAge series that we are doing here at Trion Worlds, and this is all about the game of ArcheAge, which is an amazing open world sandbox PvP game that you can have so much amazing fun in. It's just amazing. My name is Victoria, also known as Firekate on the forums, and I am the producer for Trion for ArcheAge. And Evan?
I am Evan. You may know me as Scapes on the forums. I'm the excitable guy who likes to talk about what's going on in the episode before we actually do station identification. So that's me.
All right. So we're going to go ahead. Let's go ahead to the big devs. Camera on us. Camera on us. We're important.
No.
There we go. So we're going to go ahead and answer some questions that we saw and on the forums, and then we're going to take questions from the chat. And I want to remind everybody really quickly, we are going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the live stream. So make sure you say something in chat or to get a chance at the live stream. Say hello. You can even say something. That's totally fine. You only need to say it once.
Just once.
Saying it more than once isn't going to help.
So
just say something once and you'll be totally cool.
Yeah.
So just a couple of quick things for folks. I saw a lot of questions on the forums where folks were asking us about in-game features and different items in the game. And so I wanted to really make sure that I outlined what our relationship with XL is and our relationship with ArcheAge. So Trion Worlds is the publisher for ArcheAge in the West. We are a company that is doing the localization, we're doing the marketing, we're doing the community, and we're really interacting with you guys. And we're also working with XL to give them information on what the Western audiences are looking for, what folks want to see, what we don't want to see, and how to really adapt ArcheAge to the West. So we don't have any direct ability to put something in the game. But we do definitely request it, and XL does listen to us. And so we have some conversations back and forth, and stuff gets into the game sometimes, and sometimes not. So I don't have a whole lot that I can say about future things that are changing in the game. I certainly can't say anything about any of the other regions because I don't know. So it's very hard for me to say anything there. But it should be pretty cool, and we have a lot of questions we can answer about the English version of the game right now, which will also be in French and German for launch, and the way that we're actually publishing it. So we're going to go ahead and get started with some of those questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to get started with the first one, which is talking about flagging and new players and PvP with players. And I'm not sure that I can emphasize this enough. ArcheAge is a PvP game.
I thought we've been saying it every single live stream.
We have, but you know,
it's important to reinforce.
Folks,
yeah, that's
always
true.
good to reinforce.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So it is definitely a PvP game. There is a few areas sometimes that you can be safe in the game, but in general, the game is not your friend. It's a lot of fun. It's very cool. But you do have to keep an eye out. So getting a really good guild or having a good alliance with other guilds is super important because it gives you that sort of community that you can be safe with. But just remember, if you don't know somebody, they can kill you. It doesn't matter if they're on your faction or not.
Absolutely. You even have the game up just live here, and I keep checking out of the corner of my eye just to make sure that someone isn't sneaking up on me and looking to do me ill. So, but yeah, it's definitely important to bear that in mind.
Because Scapes is actually on a regular play character. We have buffed him up a bit so that he can survive a little bit longer than the average player. But yes, he's killable. So
don't encourage them.
Don't show your map.
No map.
No maps. Maps are bad.
Yep.
We are going to go ahead and switch over to, so Scapes is running around an area here with a castle. And we saw a bunch of questions, big castle, about castles. And there's a few reasons to build a castle. One is, dude, it's freaking cool. Can you see the castle? There we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. I mean, castles are awesome. It's just phenomenal. You can put houses inside of a castle or outside of a castle. Someone who lives there might be in there. Be careful.
Noted.
Be careful.
Looking for bogeys.
If you put a house inside of a castle and the castle is under siege, your house is included in what is under siege. So there's no guarantees it'll be there when it's done. And this particular castle, as you can see, it's one of our alpha castles. We have 4, I believe, currently. And it was built by some of our players. There's a lot of houses outside of the walls because this particular castle doesn't have a whole lot of room on the inside. But you can build the castle in any shape that you want, any design that you want. And the whole point of the castle is to defend the guard tower, to make sure that that big sword you see, and I'm pointing to the sky, because of course they can see the monitor that I'm pointing at.
Of course, yeah.
Of course. There, it's over there. That thing is what you are protecting whenever the castle comes under siege. So whoever is trying to take over your castle has to actually capture that point and basically beat it down to no hit points before you kill them, which is kind of the point.
And that's called the lodestone, correct?
That is the Archeum lodestone.
The Archeum lodestone.
It got renamed, so I'm still using old names for a couple of things. I apologize.
It's also just interesting, just as a bit of an aside, in the 2 months that I've been watching this castle grow, I remember when these towers were nothing more than little stumps, and they were still growing up. They still had the scaffolding in place. And it's just great to see it now in almost its full glory. I think that we may just have a gate waiting to go in there.
I think they're actually planning on dropping that in last minute to protect the gate.
Oh, okay.
So right before they have to siege, they can put that in.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty cool.
Very.
So it should be a lot of fun. And cool. I think that was it for castles. Was there anything else we wanted to cover on castles?
I think it was more just a matter of, what is defendable and what is not. It's great to see actually sort of the village growing around the castle as well, this organic growth to the Aurora continent.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And this particular castle is on the ocean, so I will point out that for areas that are close enough to the sea, you can fire cannons from ships at it. It's kind of cool.
Yep.
Now, when you are the owner of a castle, you get to set the taxes or influence the taxes in the area around the castle. So you are going to be able to add a modifier to the taxes, and it can be anywhere from 0% to 50% of what the person currently has to pay. And then you get that, whatever that difference is, that percentage, into the coffers of your guild. If you are a guild leader, that is your coffers, assuming you're the one that owns the castle. So guilds, please make sure you pick your guild leaders very carefully, because if you have a castle, they can take all the money and run.
It's true. And especially, you're actually kind of seeing it from an interesting vantage point up here. You're seeing the taxpayers and the tax collectors all in one shot.
All in one shot, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sort of working down a list of questions here, so I apologize.
You can't see it. There's an entire deck of questions.
We have
there you go.
Long,
Lots of-
many pages
lots of
of
questions.
questions. I'm not sure we're going to get to them all, but we will see. All right, so, the other question that came up a lot was about the family system.
Oh, yeah.
So can you pull up the family tab
We can
really
indeed.
quickly? You're going to need to see the UI. Shift V.
Shift V to bring up family.
There we go. So you can go ahead and set a family, and this is just people who you are friendly with. They don't have to be in your guild. They do have to be on your faction. And you can set a title for them. And if you want, you can give your family permission to participate in your house or your farm, depending on what it is. Or if you have a storage chest in your house, you can actually set permissions specifically to that storage chest. So, for instance, you could say your entire guild can come in your house, but only your family can take stuff out of your storage chest, which is kind of really neat. There is no marriage. I keep hearing people ask, this is it. You can be a family. That's it. You can role play marriage all you want.
Absolutely.
Please, feel free.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah, you can set your own titles and everything.
Yep. Folks were asking about, as we're sitting here at the castle, about the rewards of actually winning a siege.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So everything you see here, all of the castle and the houses around it that are actually on the property of the castle, you can take that down there.
Okay.
It is part of the territory. So whoever owns that castle owns that territory. And they can adjust the taxes and get, more taxes or less taxes depending on how they do it. And in addition, you get whatever's left of the castle when you're done sieging it.
To the victor go the spoils.
To the victor go the spoils.
Yeah.
We watched a siege the other day, and there were significant chunks of the castle and the gate that weren't there anymore, but there was still a lot of it that was left. So you get all of the goodies. Depending on how far away from the castle your house is, it depends on whether or not it can be attacked. And so the penalties are you lose all your stuff. The gain is you gain all this stuff. Somebody else's hard work becomes yours, which is kind of cool. Okay, the next one was about zones and PvP. So if you want to pull up the map, we can talk them through the quick zone.
Put me in danger here.
I am. Ha 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 ha. Let's
right.
go into one of the continents.
Sure.
And so you can see here, there's a number of different sort of colored dots on the zones. And the zones that are in orange are in a state of war. The zones that don't have any color overlay are in a state of peace. For PvP zones that are in a state of peace, that is, you can't attack anybody. So if you're a PvEer and you don't want to have to deal with people, PvPing you and potentially killing you, wait till the zone is in peace, go on in, and you're all set. But if you go into a zone that's yellow or orange or red, you're going to be in trouble.
So it is important to note that is actually just for the two lower continents, correct? Yeah, so unfortunately, even though this area is actually called the Calmlands, you'll see it actually is a hostile zone. So I can be PvP'd. Again, not an invitation to anyone who's on Alpha right now, because we are on the live servers, but can be PvP'd right here, right now.
Yep.
If you can get me.
Yes, he's going to glide around on that glider.
Speaking of, right below me.
Incoming!
Hello,
we have
Orenthal.
incoming.
Oh boy. Gonna stay good and far away from them.
I had mentioned earlier that we are working very closely with Excel about what kinds of things are going to be in our version of ArcheAge. And I do want to assure everyone that we are going to try to stick as close as possible to the essence of what ArcheAge is all over the world. We want to make sure that this is not a pay-to-win game, that there are ways for folks to actually earn the best in slot for everything and not just buy it. So we are working with Excel to make sure that there's some of that going on, or none of that going on, I guess, none of the pay-to-win. So there are certain items that we are not going to be selling in our store, but there's a lot of the items that are currently available that we are going to be including. Now, some things that are currently on the store in Korea were added as events or seasonal things, and we're probably going to hold some of those for the seasonal events. So, for instance, you probably won't see swimsuits right away. We'll hold that for next summer so that we can have additional stuff and have some fun over it, maybe a sale, who knows. Have some cool things with it.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of fun.
I'm carefully watching these
I know.
fine people who I'm sure are going to be very nice, and they're going to let us do our live stream in peace, I sincerely hope. Still looking for the flyer who was around.
I can't force that zone to peace.
No. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That'll keep us afloat.
So I want to talk through our just our business model really quickly. Some folks were asking about it, and alpha and beta. So ArcheAge will be a free-to-play game at launch. There is we will have a subscription called Patron. It's not really a subscription. It's a status that you can purchase. You can either buy it for real money, or you can trade with your fellow players for it. If you think something like Plex and Eve, you've kind of got the same sort of concept. And so you can go ahead and trade with players to get patron status. One of the biggest things that patron status gives you is the ability to place land or place farms and houses, and to pay taxes. So you can keep your farms and houses.
Yep. So as players in the alpha, actually you can actually see examples right here. So these folks are folks who actually are currently paying taxes to actually own that land. It's on a 2-week cycle, I believe.
So you pay taxes every week, but you have a 2-week grace period.
That's what it is. My mistake. But essentially, that's what the patron status allows you to do, is to pay taxes and continue owning your land. We also see a very common question whenever we bring up this topic, which is, well, how do I access housing as someone who is a free-to-play player, someone who does not have Patron? The answer is very simple. These are very large houses, and they can be shared with your guildies, with your families.
And also keep in mind that just because you don't want to pay any money or you can't afford to pay us money or whatever, there will be in-game options for you to gain patron status. So you can trade with your fellow players. So if they want gold or you want to take care of your farm, then you can, yes, it is going to be a Rex-like tradable currency. Someone just pointed that out.
Good timing.
Good, perfect timing on that question. So that will be in the game. So you will have some options that are not pay for real money.
Let's see. Other just quick ones I'm seeing here as a good question. So the answer is yes, we will be starting fresh at Head Start. There'll be a wipe of all beta, so no worries there. There's another really good one that totally snuck away from me. It's the scroll's going even quickly, even though we've got slow mode on. See more folks down here. Oh yes, somebody asking about beta. We're currently scheduling beta, or estimating beta to be in June.
Yes.
For the start of our closed beta events.
Also keep in mind that the alpha servers are going to stay up from now through open beta. We will probably bring them down while the beta events are happening. Beta is going to be on different servers, and they will be 3 to 5 days depending on the timing. And again, the servers will be generally down between those, so you can only play when the beta event is going on. I saw a note quickly up there, and there's also one somewhere in here, about the features that XL put out in January. So they're often called the 1.0 features. And there are a lot of really, really good things that are in there. They did some class balancing that actually is really quite good. They changed a bit of how the combat works, and I've been playing it, and I actually really prefer the new version. So, it's actually some really good things in there.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we've had them make some changes for us that for things that they put in that don't work quite so well for the Western audience. For instance, they put in a requirement for dailies in order to gain the Delphi stars, which is what you use to buy your houses and your boats. And that's been changed. So it's going to be on trade routes as well. And so it gives you an opportunity to you can either do the dailies or you can go ahead and trade. So you can get many more. There's no daily limit on those. So if you want to go crazy trading, you can go crazy trading and get a fair amount of those. Just a quick clarification for notes that I'm seeing. We are not going to have weekly beta events, but there will be more than one. And each event will be from 3 to 5 days. Just so the folks understand that.
One of the notes you actually words. You may want to note about trade packs. Actually, I saw some good questions about how trade packs are also changing as well.
Oh yeah, so trade packs are changing a bit. There are some new prices with, new recipes for trade packs themselves. And again, I've been playing it, and actually, you hear it, you're like, I don't know. Then you play it, and it's, hey, this is kind of cool. So been really enjoying that. And the other piece that we're making, the other change that we're making is that the split when you turn in a trade pack that's not yours. So for instance, say Scapes was running around with a really nice looking trade pack on his back, and I decided to kill him and take his trade pack. When I turn it in, now I'm going to get 80% of the rewards, and he will get 20% of the rewards, which is a different percentage ratio than we have in Korea. And it is also, we are testing this ratio. This is not necessarily the final ratio. So we're going to see how it plays out on alpha and on beta. And we'll go ahead and adjust it depending on there.
I understand how it is. It's basically, it fell off a merchant ship,
It fell off a ship.
Yeah, just forget about it. It's your trade pack now. But as mentioned, we're going to be changing a little bit how the division goes.
Yes. Oh yeah, and beta will be in both North America and Europe. So folks who are asking about a European beta server, we will have one, actually more than one. As we go through the betas, we will be getting bigger and bigger. So there will be multiple beta servers by the end of the beta. I had another question, and it totally went out of my mind.
Starting to draw a bit of a crowd down here.
Uh-oh. Hey, there was a question about fall damage.
There is a question about fall damage.
You should show them the answer to the question about fall damage.
I should show them the answer to the question about fall damage. All right, UI on.
R.
Hello, Gravity.
Thud.
Fall damage. And in fact, stun damage as well if you fall far enough.
Yes. Aren't you glad I buffed you?
I'm very glad you buffed me.
So yes, there is fall damage. Voila.
Yeah, just in case we hadn't already made that clear in the other live streams.
Yes. There are a couple questions here about how intense is PvP in ArcheAge. As you can see here, Scapes is sort of trying very hard to stay aloft and away from everyone so that he does not have to be attacked and killed. But PvP can happen almost anywhere. And I say almost because the only exception to that is in normally PvP zones that are in peacetime. Other than that, your own faction can kill you just about anywhere, and the other faction can kill you anywhere on the open water or on in any of the PvP zones.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't know if you've been noticing, folks who are watching the stream, but as I see the gliders following me or folks following me on horseback, if I actually mouse over them, that's just a mob, so that's going to show the crossed swords. But if I see one of the other guys, well, there were so many Orenthal before. Where'd they all go? Basically, either way, if you mouse over them,
where are you?
Don't summon them. No. Basically, if you notice, the mouse actually turns to the crossed swords, which means they are completely attackable, and vice versa. So.
Yes, indeed.
Looking
at a question. There's a couple of quick questions here about audio recording, and we are recording those. They are actually recorded in English, and we are doing the recordings in French and German. Mm-hmm. And the English has been sent over to Excel, and we are waiting for the build with it in it. So hopefully it won't be too long before you guys can get to experience that. Uh-oh, see, Arnthal's coming.
I see them. I see them talking. And I see them below. Hi there.
They're dangerous.
So, how about that next zone you're going to put me? No, I think I'm good for a little while
I was
longer.
about to say, if you need, I can
nah, I got this.
solve on the zone thing.
I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that's right. You're Nuian. I should not port you to Aranya.
Let's see. We got a good question about dungeons I see in the chat. Just, again, if you have questions, please ask them in the chat as well.
Please ask them out.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch from the forums, but we're glad to answer ones from the chat as well. This is actually about the dungeons and their quantity. I believe we have 10 dungeons.
There are 10 dungeons.
Yes.
There is one per tier per faction.
Mm-hmm.
So one on the Nuian side and one on the Haranya side. And you can play the other faction's dungeon, but you have to run over there through all of their zones and all of their players and hopefully make it into the entrance.
Not hopefully. Hopefully I can avoid this dogfight that's about to happen here. I love how his cape is going back there. So actually, one note about the does look pretty good. One note about the dungeons, actually, if you check our Twitter, that's going to be @ArcheAge on Twitter. We did just actually retweet one guild replaying their dungeon run of one of the earlier dungeons, and it was actually really great to watch, just see the team play. So if you have a chance, definitely check that out.
Yes. We have a lot of folks on Twitch that are streaming, and they're doing some absolutely amazing things.
Oh gosh,
so,
yeah.
If you watch Twitch streams or you just want to check out ArcheAge and actually see some more combat rather than us trying to dodge combat, please go ahead on the Twitch. We're usually on the first page or so, and just check it out. There's some amazing guys who are streaming ArcheAge, and I'm super, super thrilled with all of them.
So one question which I've been seeing a lot, both on forums, but again reiterated here in the chat as well, is about the amount of housing or the availability of housing currently on the server. This is definitely something which we're glad to answer, actually.
All of that is still open housing.
Right there. This
by the way.
stuff, right here.
So there is a fair amount of housing still available. Most of it that's currently available is in PvP zones. But keep in mind that, remember we said earlier that there is every 2 weeks, you have a 2-week grace period for taxes. So we're rapidly coming up on, I think this weekend is sort of the first big alpha, like, okay, if you haven't played for a while, you know, you're going to start losing your stuff. Or if you've been too busy fighting and not actually paying your taxes, you're going to start losing your stuff. So spaces are going to be opening up. Guilds are going to be moving. My own play guild, we actually just moved a couple of weekends ago. We sort of all picked up and moved to a new spot. So there's a lot of that going on. So keep an eye out for areas opening up in the beginning zones, or be a little adventurous and check out those PvP zones, because there is still a fair amount of space in a lot of those.
See, if your guild was really lucrative, you'd actually announce to the other people in the area who are looking for chat, oh, well, we'll sell you this land that we're about to vacate at a discount as well for the real estate.
Yes, that is one thing that actually is going to be added in, is the selling of houses. So you will be able to sell houses securely in-game. That brings up another good point. I mentioned at the beginning that this is a PvP game, and your own faction can kill you. It also means you shouldn't necessarily trust your own faction with trades. There is a secure trade system built in for person-to-person trades, and there is the auction house to use. Those are kind of the only ways you're guaranteed to get your money. Once we put in the secure housing sale, then that will be another way you can guarantee to get your money and your items. So please be cautious. If you wouldn't trust a guy with your car keys, don't trust him with your gold.
It's a good litmus test, actually, that.
It is actually pretty much. All right, what else have we got here? Some of the stuff that's coming up in the next few builds. And so this is probably in the next, I want to say 2 or 3 builds. We're going to get bits and pieces through the different builds. And that is, we're making some changes to the more ping-based skills. XL has made some changes for us, and I think we got it, I forget when we're getting that build, soon, so that's coming in. We're also tweaking the labor point regeneration. So we have 1 edition on alpha. We're going to be tweaking that and changing it a little bit more. We're going to keep an eye on it and perhaps change a little bit more in the future. So that's going to be tweaking. So if you're on alpha or beta, expect to see some changes about that, which will be kind of cool. So we'll get different options. There was one more thing that was on here that people were asking about, and my brain is going. Yep, and pretty much all of the changes that XL is implementing, we are certainly going to take a look at and test it out on our servers. And if there are things that we can tweak and that makes sense for us to tweak, we're going to be talking with XL about tweaking them. Some will be harder than others, so we may not necessarily tweak everything. In fact, it's highly unlikely that we will tweak everything, but definitely the more critical things we want to make sure. Somebody asked tweaking in what way? Mainly by adjusting things like drop percentages or the chances of having a crit or that kinds of stuff. All right, you can talk some now.
Yeah, sure. Actually, one of my favorite questions that we collected from the forums is actually happening right this minute. That was the question about how does time progress in the game? And if I remember correctly from the answers that we developed was that it's 10 minutes for every hour.
It's 10 minutes per hour.
10 minutes per hour. So actually, but you'll notice that the light is actually changing as well as the sun really does go down the horizon, and you'll see that the castle's kind of a little more of a pinkish red color now, and you'll actually have dusk settle upon the land. And
my favorite is the dolphins.
Oh gosh.
We have sections where the dolphins are in the game and they only show up at twilight, which is really super cool.
I think actually before we started, we saw one of them fishing in an area. You saw the dolphins starting to go. Yeah.
Yep. Some coalition folks were fishing in that area. And
I've been shot down.
uh-oh.
And there's that fall stun, and I might get CC locked actually, because that's what happens.
Have you been controlled?
I think I might be. Let's see how this goes.
Let me know if you need me to get you out of there.
Might actually, because we're going to see a chain of that.
Oh, because you don't have your UI on.
Magic.
Sorry, this is what happens if you don't have your UI on and you get ported. It's
won't
not
happen
pretty.
to you.
Won't happen to you. You won't have a GM who suddenly decides, hey, I'm going to port you out of there. However, we're going to actually talk a little bit about, there you are.
There.
We're going to talk a little bit about fishing now.
This is a decidedly less tenuous situation.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Except this bush is attacking me.
How about it get to a spot that's clearer?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
I fell into a bush.
So we got a lot of questions about fishing and how fishing works in the game. And you, like a lot of things in ArcheAge, you have to craft the pieces, which is super, super cool. At least I think it is. So you have to go ahead and craft a fishing rod, and you craft a wrapped fishing rod. And if you want to actually pull up your inventory, you can see that. That little guy over there. And when you're ready to actually start fishing, you unwrap the fishing rod. Now, one of the reasons that you craft the wrapped ones is because they only last for a certain number of days. This is the bottom level fishing rod because Escape Explorer doesn't have any actual points in fishing. So this is the bamboo rod, and it only lasts for 3 days. The higher end rods will last for 30 days and more. Excuse me. When you're actually fishing, if you want to go ahead, you have to equip the rod. So equip the actual rod.
So not that one.
Well, you can wrap it and then equip it.
Oh, okay. I thought we wanted to save a wrap, but I can definitely do that. We got the other one.
There we go. And then you'll notice down here at the bottom, actually slightly hidden by our camera. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we can just do this.
There you go. There we go. You can close your inventory now.
Mm-hmm.
Is the fishing skill bar. So when you're in freshwater or you're doing most normal fishing, the only skill bar you have is the basic fishing. And you do need worms in your inventory. In order to get worms, you have to there's the worms. You have to create and harvest. Why is my brain not working now? I plant them all the time. I have like 3,000 worms. Things.
It's been a long week.
Oh, I cannot believe I can't remember that. Oh, that is terrible. Basically, you take 10 of a kind of seeds and you put it into. I'm gonna have to go look it up now. And seed bundles. There we go. That's the word. I'm like, I have like a million fish. I fish all the time. So you go ahead and you create seed bundles using a farmer's workbench. A farmer's workbench is a sort of like a really specialized trading station that you create using your. Oh, here we got company now.
Yay.
Using your small scarecrow garden. So it's one of those interesting choices you have to make of whether or not you want to keep your small scarecrow garden or if you want to actually go ahead and turn it into a farmer's workbench, which I don't recommend you doing until you have your scarecrow farm, which is the slightly larger version. Because then you have somewhere to put it. Otherwise, you don't have anywhere to put it, unless you have a house. And once you go ahead and you have these worms and you want to fish, you just click on the fishing icon and you point to wherever you want to actually fish and you go. I have fished in rivers and in lakes and in the open ocean and been killed by Orenthul while I'm fishing. I have.
It's a rite of passage, really.
So you can fish just about anywhere there's water. It does have to be a certain depth, but it's not a very deep depth. And there's different kinds of fish that you get depending on where it is you fish, both on whether it's freshwater or ocean and which zone it's in. The other really cool thing about fishing is that you can fish up sacks and chests. Depending on where you are, you get either a sack or a chest. And they can give you can't fish too far. They give you things like Delphin stars or archeum. So if you are big into crafting, for instance, you need a lot of moonlight archeum to craft armor or sunlight archeum to craft weapons, or starlight for jewelry. And you can get that through fishing as well. You can also sell your fish and make a fair amount of money. I went fishing yesterday for about 30 minutes and made 10 gold by selling my fish. I got very, very lucky in rares.
I was going to say, it sounds like a lot of minnows.
No, that was a lot of rares. Those are some salmons and some other stuff, which is pretty cool. So yes. So if you want to just sort of PvE and mainly craft and don't want to do a whole lot of like PvP or killing, fishing is a fantastic way to make money. What else we got here? 3 languages. We are going to be releasing ArcheAge in French, English, and German. English is first. I don't know if folks know, but because of the way that the translation from Korean works, we actually really need to take the Korean into English, put all the articles and the tenses in and all the plural nouns, and then take that from English to French and German. So that's why we have English first and French and German are coming. They are in translation. Actually, most of them are in QA at this point. So they will be coming in not too far a future. I know I skipped over like a page of questions here. So some quick notes on hacking, GMs, customer service. So Actually, quickly, as I'm still on fishing. So a higher fishing skill gets you better rods, the ability to have bigger fish. Certain fish are only fishable at higher levels. And you do have a better chance of getting the higher end stuff. So the rare fish, the lockboxes, all of the cool stuff. Pretty much everything in crafting. The higher your skill, the better your chance of getting either the higher end items, brain dead. The higher end items, or you critting, or basically getting cooler stuff, and you gain access to recipes that are on the higher end as well. Okay, back to all of our GMs and customers. I'm talking a lot.
It's all right. I'm entertaining our fine generic guild name here, who's decided to, and elite, actually a whole bunch of
and
our
a whole bunch of
alpha guilds. Yeah,
those are
some
alpha
of our
guilds,
first,
yes.
Yeah, some of our first ones. I see, Docker Games. We got Bike Man. We got all of our, common streamers here. Good to see them all in. I see Bike Man's giving me tips on how to fish these fine lakes.
Nice.
I like his action pet though.
I do like his action pet. That is pretty cool.
Wow.
Okay, so CS, we actually have real human beings. Well, they're always real human beings, but we have real human American beings do our customer service. They are a lovely group of folks. I was down there a few months ago, and Evan was down there about a month ago. You were in Austin. Great set of men and women, and we're looking forward to interacting with them a lot more. We're already interacting with a bunch of them.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of cool. So we are, as much as possible, we are making sure that our CS are people who really care about the game. They all play the game. Many of them are contributors to the wiki, so you'll be seeing a lot of stuff from them. They're super cool folks.
Yeah.
They are also going to be actively monitoring reports, checking out things that are going on the server, to try to make sure that we're minimizing the impact of bots on the game. So we are aware that they're bots, and they're going to try to get into every game. It's sort of a thing that it happens. And so yeah, you can't actually use some of the other stuff because you don't have the lures.
Yeah, I just missed Toad.
Oh, okay. Hey, there's a trawler.
Ooh. Oh,
Cool.
hey, yeah.
Yeah, so we've implemented the changes that Excel has already made. We just put them on alpha this morning to minimize the hacking, some of the hacking that they know about. And further on, as we find more hacking, because hackers are creative and they will come up with new ways to do stuff, we will continue to work with Excel to make sure that that's addressed. In addition, we're going to have human beings looking at reports, looking in the game, and just looking and observing and seeing how people are interacting. And if you're botting, we will ban you. So don't bot.
Don't do that.
You will ban. We will ban.
Mm-hmm.
And also came up really quickly about multi-boxing.
Oh, yeah.
So
That did come up earlier.
with ArcheAge, you can only run one client per computer. It is a limitation of the game, so you cannot have multiple clients. But if you have 2 or 3 computers, you can have 2 or 3 different accounts running. As long as you, the human being, are controlling all of those accounts, that's fine. If you use third-party tools, you're botting, we ban you.
No software.
No software. Fingers only. Toes, maybe, if you're really, really creative.
If you're really good, then yeah.
Toes can work as well.
Kudos to you.
Okay with that?
Right. Seeing a common question actually in the chat, just to quickly address. The question about full screen borderless windowed mode is possibly the most hotly requested technical feature of the game. It's something which we have discussed with Excel Games, and it's something which we want to bring to it. But just a matter of time. We don't have a timeline quite yet, but we've heard you guys. And
we've heard you.
Yeah, believe me, we want to.
We want it too.
Yeah, so no worries there.
I'm running quickly through a bunch of stuff here. Is there any way to skip the startup logos in the config file? Not in the config file, but coming up in a build soon, you can hit escape and get through them. Yeah.
We know you guys want those 22 seconds back. So do we.
Yeah, this is where it comes down to the fun, sort of the differences between, in this case, the laws in different areas. So we don't care if you see the logos in the States. They care very much in Korea. Sorry, I'm umming so much. I don't like when people
No worries. I saw a question actually about RP server tags. Currently, we're not planning on actually tagging any of our live servers with RP. We know we've actually seen a lot of folks talking about it in the forums, but for the time being, we're not really thinking about doing that.
Here's some questions about beta. So beta, as I mentioned before, it's going to be a number of different events. Each event will be 3 to 5 days. And you can get in. If you buy a Founders Pack, you are guaranteed to get in. If you're on Alpha because you want a key, you're guaranteed to get in. And if you've signed up on our forums, as very many of you have, I can't see the numbers, it's a large number, I'm very happy about it, then you get a chance to get in. So really the best way to guarantee to get in is to buy a Founders Pack. It can be any of them, it doesn't matter which one. Or win a contest so that you can play on Alpha. And those contests are, we do giveaways. We give away 3 keys every live stream, so that's pretty much every week at this point.
Including this one.
Including this one. So a reminder, if you joined us late, if you haven't said anything in chat, please say something in chat so that you can be entered in for one of the keys. We have 2 trawlers.
Looks like the other one is going to let us actually exit a little bit.
But
There
yes,
we go.
so make sure if you can get into Alpha, that is a guarantee. If you buy one of the Founders Packs, that's a guarantee to get into a beta. Or if you want to just go up to archeagegame.com and sign up for beta, you will be entered as into a pool, and we will be drawing folks from that pool. We're going to start the betas out a little bit smaller, and we'll be growing them with each additional beta event. So if you don't get into the first one, don't worry. You've still got a chance to get into future ones. There is, however, no guarantee that we can get you into a beta if you're just in that pool, because it's a really, really big pool. Yeah. We did the fall damage one.
Oh, you already did the fall damage one. You don't need to do that again. No
But I
need to
can
repeat
summon
that.
you like way up high.
I'm sure you could. I do not doubt that.
There were a question about wipes. So we are going to be wiping the beta servers before we go live. Those servers will actually turn into our live servers. But for Alpha, we're not sure if we're going to wipe it or not. We're going to have to see how it works out. The intention is that the Alpha server will become our test server. But I do want to caution you that we are not going to keep the test server available all of the time. So if you want to play the game, you need to play it on live. Playing it on test, you'll get to play it when we need testing. There's no guarantees on uptime on that.
Seeing folks also asking about how long the Alpha, the Arcane Founders Pack will be actually available for sale. Basically, much like we've been saying all this whole time.
Until we run out.
It's basically until we run out, yeah. And but it's available now. So if you are interested, definitely dive in. And you can join on this fun.
And if you've purchased a silver or a gold pack and you are loving what you're seeing and want to join us, you can go ahead and upgrade to the Archeum pack, which would be cool.
Yeah.
Questions. All right, so ask some questions, guys, because
we're running a little bit low on time, actually, but
glad
we're almost there.
We're almost out of time.
So the person asking about how do we run out of digital goods, that's a good question. The answer is capacity on our Alpha server. And essentially, as you might have seen, we can travel to the far ends of the game and still have people who are running around, who are building houses, villages, castles, and it's just been incredibly busy. And so we don't want to get into a situation where the Alpha has a queue or where we can't let people into the Alpha easily. So we want to avoid that. That's where the limitation comes from.
Cool. I'm going to switch us back to us.
No worries, yeah.
There we go. And then I tried to use the wrong mouse. We have 3 computers here, so it's occasionally
confusing.
I will use the wrong mouse or the wrong computer. It does happen on occasion. So I've seen this question a couple of times. It may have been by the same person about the additional races. So at this point in time, we have no timeline for when those races will be coming to our version, but the intention is that they will be coming to our version. It's just going to take a while. One of the challenges with anything like that, where there's such a huge amount of content, I mean, each of these races has their own series of quests all the way through. I think it's level 30 before they start getting more generic. And that's a lot of words to translate. And we have to do it 3 times. So it takes us a while. And also, we don't actually have it in our builds yet. We don't have any of the text yet. So we are, it's one of the things we want to do. It is not going to be there for live.
To the person who's actually asking about the titles available in the Founders Packs, no, you do not need to buy each Founders Pack to get each of the titles.
No, you get them all.
We might appreciate that, but you don't have to do that. Basically, by buying the higher tiers, you get the lower tiers as well. So no worries there.
Yeah. Also wanted to point out, as I'd mentioned, we are doing alpha in English, and the beta will start out in English. If you prefer to play in French or German, go ahead and get started on the English. And when the French and German are available, you will be able to just start using the French and German. You won't have to recreate your character or go to a new server or anything else. So it's sort of everybody plays on the same servers, no matter what language they want to play in, and then you get to pick your language by your client.
I saw one fellow asking when ArcheAge is releasing. I think actually the chat knows our answer to that one. So I know there's a little delay, so I'm actually just going to say it. 2014. It is coming this year to the West.
Cool.
For reporting bugs, actually, just quickly, I'm seeing a good one there. So the answer is yes. Please, if you have found bugs, take them to the forums. We actually have staff in there, both from QA, from CS, and ourselves in there all the time, paying attention to exactly that kind of content. So please, tell us your experiences. Tell us where it hurts.
So I was actually talking with our CEO earlier today, and I'm so happy he has this attitude, which is just fantastic, which is we really want to test everything out on alpha and beta. We need you guys. I mean, we can test it, but there's only so many of us, and there's a lot more of you. And so we need you guys to go in and test them on alpha and on beta, and tell us what you think. If there's stuff that just really, really doesn't work, or if there's stuff that, hey, this is awesome, we want to hear about it. And please just go onto the forums and go ahead and let us know.
We've been really following closely. We actually we pay a lot more attention than you might imagine. There's maybe only a couple of voices on the forums, a couple of, like I was saying, from QA, from CS, and ourselves, but everyone pays attention to the forums. I can't count the number of times I've been working on a post, working on an update, working on a live stream, and someone come over and say, did you see the thread over on the forums? Did you see this discussion?
Yes.
See this cool video, this live stream, this I think my favorite from this week was this recreation of makeup in the game done on an actual person, an actual makeup artist.
Oh, wow.
Recreated
some of the makeup looks. Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I saw stuff on Twitter. It was
they
fantastic.
have some really neat makeup looks.
Oh, yeah.
Few folks are asking about region locking. So Trion makes a policy not to region lock. So we are not region locking within our own territories, and we are not intending to IP lock either. So come, play.
Let's see. We're actually at 3:50.
Oh, so I guess we're actually a little bit over time.
So we're going to see if, for those who actually are familiar with Twitch, so we're actually, you jump over there. We're going to see if Nightbot's actually connected. For those who are familiar with Twitch, know that Nightbot's gone through a little bit of some life changes recently. Oops. Looks like he actually is connected, so this should work.
Right keyboard.
So that should do it.
All right, let's see. Okay, yay, there's a Nightbot.
Hey, he's working.
Maybe, and the winner is,
Please?
And the winner is, come on.
Please, Nightbot.
He's slow.
Like he's either
I don't know, I think you guys
slow,
might have killed him.
Poor Nightbot.
He's under a lot of stress lately.
All right, so our paranoid android's a little bit broken right now. Looks like he's not going to actually do the job. So essentially, we'll do this offline. This is why. Oh, did you see it?
No, that was somebody with a.
I'm
sorry. You have Nightbot set to the same color as the emotions.
I'll fix that for next time. But essentially, this is why we made sure that everyone typed that they were in. So we'll actually go through and do it that way instead. Unfortunately, Nightbot still is having some connectivity issues, as anyone who's been active on any other Twitch channel is already aware of. We'll also look into other solutions, see if we can't find an interim one that works better and live, because we definitely enjoy announcing it on the channel. It's exciting.
It's
the person
so much
gets
cooler.
Yeah, but nope, that's just next live stream.
Yep.
Nightbot, you're trolling me. All right.
Oh well.
So anyway, we're really, really glad you guys came out. Thanks so much for joining us, and thank you also for asking your questions. They were really, really good. And just if you continue to have questions, if you have ones that we didn't answer, the forums are right there, and we're going to be on them. So Please.
And if you have won, we will be reaching out to you tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow via Twitch. So look for something from probably Scapes, possibly from Trion World.
Yeah, probably Trion World. It's
Probably
just
Trion
a
World.
message, yeah.
There we go. So you'll get a message in your Twitch chat, and we will be asking you which character, which account you want us to go ahead and flag for alpha.
And then we'll see you in.
So cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much. Take care.